The trouble with 1989's 80s capping romantic adventure film Always is evident from the very first sequence.
Great first shot with the shallow focus introduction of our heroes as their planes.
Then he cuts to get comedy reaction shots, which aren't funny.
Then he loses them for the punchline of the guys jumping off the boat.
Spielberg mounts his cameras on plane rigs to give you the effect of flying, but we don't believe they let Richard Dreyfuss fly a plane. Seems like insurance wouldn't cover that even in the go-go 80s.
But the aerial photography is usually terrific, as you'd expect.
The introduction to the movie's premise takes 30 American minutes.
The longest 30 minutes. This is not a joke.
And it feels longer.
The movie is about a pilot who dies and is tasked with helping his replacement, which inadvertently means he's setting up his girlfriend to date a new guy, because taking his place means taking his girl.
Peter, don't do this to me. How much fuel you got left?
I love it in the kitchen, baby. You know that.
Peter, you got that sound in your voice I hate. You got that evil Knievel sound in your voice.
Come on, I want to blow out this one tree, funny face. I want to blow it out so I can make a wish for your birthday.
You want to keep flying this smoke, better get that plane on the ground.
Do what the lady says, Pete.
We want it coming in. The trees obscuring the...
Excuse me, I didn't quite catch that.
Not bad ideas. Not, certainly capable of wringing pathos from a situation. It's just tough to care about any of this in the particular form that it takes.
Oh, look at me. Oh, let me go get myself fixed up.
There's something fishy going on here, and I don't think it's the chicken.
And then there was a time when he was delivering a PBY to someplace in Michigan or Mexico, I believe it was. You know what a PBY is?
Oh, yeah, it's just...
You want ketchup?
Sure.
So he's taking off in this PBY, which is a feat in itself. I mean, they're amazing planes.
Well, it's like a tugboat with wings. How often do they feed you? Once every 2 weeks?
That's what I'm talking about.
Pete, still.
So he's flying in the PBY when down below he sees his fire.
A forest fire.
Main Street, Village Grocery Store, it turns out. Nearest fire engine's 20 miles away. Oh, you can pick it up, the chicken? Anything that flies, it's okay to pick up, even in a good restaurant. Did you know that?
Mm-hmm.
So, with Always, Spielberg is technically remaking the Victor Fleming movie A Guy Named Joe, but he takes out the World War II setting and makes his hero a far too old Richard Dreyfuss, a firefighter instead, which rather diminishes the urgency.
So, shy of the importance of the milieu, Spielberg dips into his Hawks and Ford, except he kind of messes that up too.
Hawks and Ford both were interested in community. We don't get to know anyone in Always, except for Dreyfuss, his girlfriend Holly Hunter, his friend John Goodman, and his romantic rival, the legally forgettable Brad Johnson.
So all this chaos in the blocking and camera choreography is all for naught, because these guys may as well be mannequins, or they're animals or something. They all line up to dance with Holly Hunter, and Dreyfuss is just cool with it, because I guess they don't let women near these fucking maniacs. She's the only skirt for miles.
The only skirt for miles. So there's this army of guys always just hanging around,
always
cluttering up. There's always
just a bunch of horny guys
hanging around, cluttering up the shot, which is interesting, but not really credible.
I said it was interesting. But then nothing in the movie is. You'll be asking yourself, wait, why? What are they doing? Why is this happening? What the fuck is anybody talking about? Quite a lot if you're seeing this with fresh eyes.
You know, we ought to go someplace and start ourselves a little fire.
Airborne, coming in here, boss.
Stand in the door.
Whoa! Hey, time out now. Nobody dances with this dress until they wash their hands.
Watch out! Hey, come on!
Scarlett.
Boys, that's all right. You want to dance with my girl? You gotta wipe your hands. That's it, that's it. Whoa, whoa, that's not a towel.
Go over and kick the table.
Shut the fuck up.
Go over and kick the table.
What's that do for the greater good?
It's funny.
Explain to me why it's funny. It's cause she's alone?
You thought it was funny.
I thought it was interesting.
So Spielberg's usual strategy of filling the frame doesn't work because it doesn't tell you anything. All this chaos is quite literally set dressing. The movie is only about 4 or 5 people. So like Keith David is just around.
Should have made him the lead.
Should have made John Goodman the lead. He's the most interesting male performance in the cast.
He's beautiful.
How'd you teach him that, Al?
You don't teach that. The kid's got wings. He's the best I've seen since
Pete?
What gives, Dorinda?
Ted Baker coming in on a wing and a prayer.
But in general, Spielberg wedding a 40s sensibility caught awkwardly somewhere between screwball and cartoon.
No.
Yeah.
Another goddamn comedian.
I'm not a comedian, sorry.
You better not be.
I feel so alive.
Let me light that for you.
It's okay. Probably crosswind over the trash can.
You've got these serious, sometimes beautiful, and always neatly calculated crane shots and this moody studio lighting for this very surface-level dissection of a working-class romance.
Which is tough because at this point in his life, Spielberg didn't know what was funny, romantic, or working class, and so didn't know this whole movie was a weird fit for him. But then again, he always just willed his whole career into being, so it's not like he had the wrong idea that he could just make things happen because he wanted to. The 80s taught him that over and over again. He couldn't fail, even when he did.
It's cold. Come on. Come on.
I'm watching the fire.
We don't do fires at night. We do fires in the day. At night, we eat, drink, and be mad for each other.
Sounds like an all right life.
I like it.
I thought I might try it.
Try what?
Tankers? I was thinking that I'd like to get type rated for air tankers. That way there'll be 2 of us up there instead of one of us on the ground and the other one flying around.
Forget it.
I could make it in a year if I pushed hard. I've done, I guess, counting 3 years of hauling freight, maybe 1,000 hours.
Yeah, and I saw the last 4 minutes, so forget it.
Oh, so now you're beeswax.
Well, I think it is my beeswax, and I'm not going to let you do it.
How are you going to stop me?
By telling you no. By asking you nicely. Drinda, honey, please, don't be a pig-headed fool.
Well, that's irresistible. Now, you listen to me for a change. I'll make you a fair deal. You always wanted to get me out of the air. Well, here's your chance. I'll ground myself in Flat Rock and be your girl.
You been talking to Al?
Or I'm heading off on my own, and tonight's goodbye. And maybe I'll find my own piece of sky and a guy who flies sensible.
Going forward, however, Spielberg would understand when and where to parcel out sentimentality and seriousness. For the most part. And it's not a one-to-one, but in general, he got much better at it. The absurdly broad humor would very rarely make its way into his serious movies, and he'd focus up on the reality of male and female friendships in his more serious dramas.
He'd make kids' movies and adult movies, and the sheen of professionalism and awe would cover up the crimes against subtlety and reality in both cases, enough that movies like Jurassic Park and Schindler's List would become huge successes on their stated terms.
always wants to be a supernatural screwball comedy of divorce, shot like a Western and written like a Disney cartoon. Turns out that was a bad idea. It speaks to Spielberg's ambition and his relative ability that he tried and failed, and yet the movie made a bunch of money at the box office.
Which is insane, because I feel like you could go out right now and ask
No.
a bunch of people, hey, have you ever heard of Always? And no one would
Hey,
have any
you know,
clue.
what's your favorite Spielberg romance?
The most forgotten Spielberg movie.
Yeah, no.
It would be his last romance for 30 years. And when he tried again, though the results were better, much better, the response was the same.
Comfy around the neck?
Yeah, it's fine. Listen, how did I get out of that one?
You didn't get out, Pete.
I didn't. My plane did blow up. I think I do remember that.
A real fireball.
Yeah. Now I'm sitting here in the woods getting my hair cut. Well, either I'm dead or I'm crazy.
You're not crazy, Pete.
Hap, I don't want you to think that I'm doubting your good faith or anything like that. I just want to get something clear. Okay?
Okay.
Okay. I'm dead?
That's right.